Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Season 3, Episode 8 of An Englishman Abroad, where we are currently out in Thailand, managing Buriram United. And as you can see by the screen in front of you, we have had a very, very successful 2021 season. So in the last episode, there was the drama of not one, not two, but 3 different cup finals where we managed to be triumphant in all 3, despite conceding a late goal out in Saudi Arabia in the Champions League final, which genuinely made me think that the chance was gone. And then the ecstasy of scoring a late winner to take ourselves to the heavens to win our first ever Asian Champions League. So in this episode, we are going to go through the season that was, look through the review pages. We're then also going to push forward, see what transfers needed to be made during the off-season, in between the seasons, and then maybe discuss what might be our final season at Buriram United, and hopefully what might happen with a potential entrance to the World Club Championship. But before we get into all of that, if you're enjoying the series, if you're enjoying the videos and the story as we go along, please consider hitting the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the action that is yet to come. If you're liking the videos, hit the thumbs up button to let me know that I'm doing a good job of this. And any comments, maybe anything you want to know about the save, the seasons, the trophies, anything like that, leave them in the comment section below. I'll try and get back to as many of you as possible. But let's get into the video, let's get on to the season review, and let's have a look at the season that was. Okay, so let's jump on into this end of season review. Let's look at our new arrivals. Okay, so as you can see, there were quite a few players that came in and came out. Some of the players the board liked, other players like poor Girafat Rongarang the board didn't like, but they still played their part in the team that fired us to domestic and continental championships. So let's have a quick flick through some of these. So the player who played the most from last season's signings was Jetsada Pongputta. He's a highly rated centre-back who came through from a scouting report, played 30 games and managed to score 2 goals with 3 assists for a 7.4 rating. The board were very impressed with that. I think it was a very good piece of business. He's a young player with lots of ability. We then had Lenda Hayne, who was a player who was doing wonders for the team, but unfortunately fell victim to the fact that in Thailand the foreigners rule means that you can't have more than 3 non-Asian foreigners. So when the player below him, Carlos, came in, it meant that he was the sacrifice to get Carlos in, and it was pretty much justified. I mean, look at these stats here. Carlos cost £3,900, so not even 10,000. He's played 17 games for the club and scored 13 goals already, and he's banging in at a 7.21 average rating. When we go to the average ratings, let's have a look. So Pongputta was a 7.4. Thamarasapon, who was playing right back most of the time, was a 7.21. Carlos was 7.21. And then we've got a few players who we signed and actually let out on loan. So Denman there, 7.1 out on loan. Genram, young centre-back, was also a player who managed a 7.03 rating, despite not playing too often. Where is our signing of the season? So the signing of the season actually went, strangely, to Girafat Rongarang, who got a E rating from the board. Only played in 3 games, had 10 substitute appearances, scored 2 goals with 1 assist, got a 6.94 rating. The board think that the transfer fee and the player's wages are on the high side. However, he has been named signing of the season, so a bit crazy. Don't know why that is, but it's mad. These things don't seem to make any sense, but as long as he's playing good football for the club, I'm happy with him, regardless of transfer fee and wage and everything else that goes with that. In terms of players that we let leave during this season, Matías Alves was the main one. I did say at the end of last season review that I think he was a player who was a there and then player. We needed a player who knew the league. He had played in Thailand before, scored goals for us, and did a good enough job. But as soon as it was apparent that Carlos was going to come in and take his place, and we needed that spot for the foreign registration, Matías Alves was always the one that was going to suffer. The board were content with the deal to sell him. Probably could have got a higher transfer fee, but it was good considering he's a 29-year-old striker and he was really there only to do a job. So that's enough of the transfers. Let's have a look at the season results. Okay, so let's have a look at this season's results. So it was a superb season for the Thundercastles. They claimed their third successive title to back up the pre-season credentials. We did indeed win the Thai League. We did what was asked of us. The board wanted us to win the league again, and that's exactly what we did. I believe we have won it with an identical record to last season as well. Played 30, won 27, drawn only 3, and didn't lose a single game. So that's now 3 seasons consecutively that we've been an invincible team. It's probably a bit unrealistic, and I think it's a lot to do with the squad that we inherited. Maybe not knowing anything about the league. If I was to do my time in Thailand again, it might have been better to have picked somebody different, but Buriram United are my favourite Thai team, so I probably would do that all over again. Asian Champions League, the board only wanted us to reach the second round as a minimum. We far exceeded that. We went on and won the competition in extra time in that final, in the dramatically unfolding game. In the Thai FA Cup, we finally added that to our trophy cabinet. The board wanted to win it. We went and won it. They were pleased, but only give us a C+, even though we fulfilled that. In the Thai League Cup, the board said it wasn't important. We always like to win it as it's a decent piece of silverware to get into the trophy cabinet. So we did that. Got a C+ rating for that as well. That's 3 years in a row. Don't think that we've lost a single game. Well, we couldn't have lost a single game. That's stupid. We won it 3 seasons in a row, so that's another competition. So the League and the League Cup are 2 competitions we have not lost a single game in. And then we won the Thailand Champions Cup again at the start of the season, which the board said wasn't important, but it's always nice to get us off on the front foot with a trophy. So for the club's moments to remember for the season, the biggest win was a 6-0 win in the FA Cup against Singapore. It was a game where we ran riot and Salah opened the scoring early on and then we put them to the sword. Match to remember was a 2-0 win in the Asian Champions League against Melbourne Victory. We did really well in the group stages to beat teams of the quality of Melbourne Victory, so very pleased with that. And goal of the season came in that 6-0 Thai FA Cup win, and Salah scored the great strike from the Thundercastles right midfielder as he scores a well-struck effort from 23 metres. So let's look at some finances for the club. So last season we were 3.5 national. This season we're 3.5. No, sorry, 2.5 national. Pushing on for 3 potential. The club's reputation has not changed. I think that's a bit silly. We've just won Asian Champions League, but hey ho. We've got no new sponsorship deals, no new notable deals. Our sponsorship in terms of revenue is up from last season. Our broadcast revenue is down slightly. We are a lot better off with corporate hospitality. We have a lot more in prize money with a 5.98 million yield from that. We also have 533,000 in match day commercial revenue, and total merchandise sales totals to 1.1 million, and non-domestic sales were 111,000, and we sold 10,191 shirts. So we got caught out with this before. It seems that it is updated this time because Mele is in goal, Accolades, Henry Lima, Selenon, Singaraj, Kwangjan, Faisal Zayed, Alforzan, Wanta and Jadid are our best 11, which seems pretty much what we'd expect. I would have actually put theatrical in there myself, because some of them screamers he scored across the season were just brilliant. And then onto the accolades page. Our hard work and effort paid off on the pitch, and the feat didn't go unrewarded at the end of season ceremony. So we have won Thai League Manager of the Year, theatrical won Fans Player of the Season, which is strange considering they just said he hadn't made it into the best 11. Akon 3 was Young Player of the Season despite being 24 years old. Don't know if that qualifies as Young Player, but seems to in this game. Signing of the Season was Rungarang, despite the board not really liking it. Surasak Salah got Goal of the Season that we just mentioned. Jaded was top scorer with 17. Theatrical was our best assist maker with 22. Faisal Zayed got 11 players in the match. Theatrical was the highest rated player with 7.6, and he also had most passes completed per 90 minutes with 47. So in terms of record breakers for the season, Super Chai Jai did with 3 goals in a single game, also 3 goals in a league game. Santiago Mele broke the record for clean sheets by a player in a season. He had 45 total clean sheets, and that's amazing. Quang Jan got worst discipline, and we broke our transfer fee record by paying 2 million, not all of it up front, I may add, for David Belazar, who is going to be a player to watch next season. So, history in the making, hard work and effort paid off on the pitch. Such a feat didn't go unrewarded at the end of season ceremony. So, Buriram United started better than anybody else and ran with that all the way to the title. It's what happens when you don't lose a game. Buriram have been brilliant since day one. Their early season football was a joy to watch, and they deserved champions. So, that's the season review wrapped up. We are going to... Actually, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll finish that off. We'll go straight over to the finances page and have a look there. We are projected to have a transfer budget of 3.7 million, a wage budget of 105,000, which is room of 20,000 to spend. So we've got a lot of room in the transfer market. I don't really need any foreign players, so this season is going to look... We're going to look to pick up either domestic players or Asian foreign players and see what we can get and try and build the squad in terms of retaining that Asian Champions League. I think from here we'll push forward to the end of the transfer window and maybe towards the first game, that Champions Cup game that we play, and then we'll go through the ins and outs and see where we stand in terms of the squad. Then we have now moved on. It's the 13th of February 2023. That means that the transfer window has shut, so all of our business is done. It also means that we have moved forward to the first game of our season, which will be against Samut Prakan City in the Thai Champions Cup. Let's have a look at the transfers that we have managed to do both in and out before we get into some match footage. So let's start with the players that went out at the end of the last season. The biggest name of all was Santiago Mele, our reliable goalkeeper. He got called up for the Uruguay squad, though he has never played for them, and basically became so unhappy during the transfer window that he demanded to leave. DC United came in and offered us 400,000. We turned it down. They came back with an offer of 550,000, which will rise to 750 in add-ons. And I thought, I don't want to keep a player here who doesn't want to play for the club. We let him move on, as we thought that was quite reasonable. The other player that you might notice is Omar Damba. I really wanted him to become a success at the club, but for one reason or another, we couldn't get him into the team. So with the foreign restrictions and everything, we decided to cash in on him whilst we could. We have shipped him off to Port. And the other name who has gone out on loan to Chiang Rai United is Rahman Burrell. I do think he is going to become a star, but he's another one that falls into that category of I can't justify giving him a foreign place when I've got players like Carlos and Belazar who are now taking up those places in the team. So Unfortunately, he's a bit of a casualty, but hopefully he can get some first team experience out at Chiang Rai United and come back to us a better player. And then if we have potential problems with the other foreign players, we do have a bit of a fallback. So in terms of signings that we've made, we picked up mainly domestic players to try and balance the squad out from the foreign players. So we started off with Tanabun Kezarat, his defensive midfielder who plays solely in the centre. We picked him up for £300,000 from Port. Winai Thongsom also come from Port. He is a wide player, midfielder left or right. We got him for £400,000 plus a part exchange player of a youth team goalkeeper, I think it was. Dominic Tanner's coming from Ratchaburi for £48,000. He's a Malaysian centre back. The other big casualty that I actually didn't mention on the outs, and I think he's on the next page, is Paulo Lima. His contract ran down. We couldn't agree deal for a new one, so he ended up leaving the club on a free. So we have signed quite a few players to replace him. And then we've got Patiwat Kamai. He is a direct replacement for Santiago Mele. He's a Thai international who wasn't too expensive for the type of player that he is. I think he will be our first choice goalkeeper for the season, although we have got a young 17-year-old who looks like he's going to start pushing him for that place. We have then got Natawut Yimza Nagar, who's a centre-back, can also play right-back. He came in for £1 million from Samut Prakan City. We've got Jeransak Wagorn. He is a 25-year-old who can play on the right. He can play as a right winger, a right midfielder, or a right back. He costs £375,000. Got Samarit Sawankadi. He's a defender left and centre. Again, he's another one who's going to try and fill that gap that Paulo Lima has left, although it does say that his best role there is a fullback, so it may give Akon 3 some competition down the left-hand side. Another player that we signed was Uthai Busfa. He is a central midfielder or defensive midfielder who came in for 1.4 million from Bangkok United. He's highly rated by our scouts, and I believe he is a youth team player for Thailand. I think he may have just broken into the national team, but he's an under-19 capped player as it stands. And then we signed Kanokpon Buspakom. He's a 23-year-old midfielder who also came in from Samut Prakan City for £80,000. Then moving on to the end of the window, the last player to come in was Montri Buranasiri. He's a Japanese right-sided player who is very much one for the future. Came in on a free transfer as he was in the Japanese under-19s team, I believe it was. The only other players of note that went out from the club was Wirathet Fomfan. Didn't really fit into the team, couldn't get him in past our established midfield partnership, so we let him move on. And then another player who signed for the future, who went out on loan and performed really well last season, was Oloksan Atamba. He has gone out on loan again this season to see if he can prove himself at Port. And finally, just to confirm, the two players that left the club were Paulo Lima. As I said, he couldn't agree a new deal with us, wanted more money than we could offer, which was quite sad, but it's inevitable he was going to move on because, just like a few of these players, I think they outgrow the club quite quickly. So he has found himself a new club already. He's gone to Nacional. And then Panzer Henviboon, his former central defensive partnership with him came to an end when they both left the club. He has now gone on to become a scout, so he actually retired. So us releasing him didn't do anything to damage his career. So that's all of those covered off. Let's have a quick look at the finances. So in terms of the finances, we've got an overall balance of £2 million. We have a transfer budget left of £858,000 and a wage budget of £105,000, where we're currently £20,000 below that. So in terms of balancing the books, that's going quite well. No problems with finances. And then in terms of the squad itself, our foreign players that we have registered for this season are Carlos, obviously, who is already starting to establish himself as a very good striker in the league. He's improving all the time. His finishing has gone up. His decisions are getting better. His acceleration is improving. And hopefully he will continue into the new season with the form that he finished the last one with. We have also got Hayne is registered now as one of our foreign players. He was one of the youngsters who came in last season. We struggled to find him a place with the gaps with the foreign players coming up. We have now managed to slot him in the team. He did become unhappy for a period last season. However, I feel now that his left wing role is going to be his dribbling, his first touch, determination. He's not got brilliant pace, but I feel that could come on. He's still only a 19-year-old, so fingers crossed that will start to develop as his stats mature. And the final foreign non-Asian player space goes to David Belazar. He's a defender left. He's an Argentinian. He is capped at under 20 level. He came in the middle of last season. He started off in the reserve team, played well for the reserve team, as you can see. He also went away and played in that under-20 championship, getting a 7.7 rating. He's good at tackling. His technique is good. He has decent pace, decent acceleration. He's got good determination. His aggression is there as well. So he's a player that the scouts like very much. And when we went and signed him, the club were very happy that we've got him. So fingers crossed those three players will be the ones that we build the foundation on for the current season. We try and plug the gaps that the more experienced players have left in the squad. So with those players being highlighted, and those are the foreign players that we're going to try and build around, let's get into the first match action of the brand new season, which is going to be in the Thai Champions Cup against Samut Prakan City. This is the lineup that is going to take on Samut Prakan City in that Thailand Champions Cup. So we've got Kamoy in goal. Belazar now starts at left back with Kesarat, Thongsong and Thamarasapan across the back. Techkul, Wangjan are going to start in the middle. Hayne's going to start wide left, Savachat in the middle, Thongsom on the right, with Carlos retaining his striker position up front. One other thing to note from the squad selection page is that Mwante is currently out injured, suffered a calf strain whilst on international duty, and he's only expected to be out between 9 and 3 weeks, but it's still not a great start to the season when one of your best players is out. The only other thing of note from Mwante is he has decided to announce that he's going to leave the club on a free transfer at the end of the season anyway. There's nothing I can do to bring him around to staying at the club. He's convinced that he's far better than what Buriram can offer him, so he's going to move on at the end of the season. But that's enough about that. Let's get on into the match action and see if we can't win our first silverware of the new season. First action is a theatrical corner that's swung in. It's headed away by Samut Prakan City, but Wang Jan's going to get to the ball first. Plays it to Kerasat, plays it to Sarachat, theatrical, plays it through to Carlos, and there's the opening goal of the game. Theatrical to Carlos, and that partnership is looking to be really deadly this season. Carlos just continues scoring goals. I think we're in danger of having a stepping stone player with him. We're going to enjoy him whilst he's here. Those kinds of finishes are excellent. As soon as he's in on goal, you just know that ball's going in the back of the net there. There's nothing that they could do about it. Brilliant movement. Theatrical's vision's superb. And we get an early lead. So with the throwing coming in, Sarachat's theatrical. He crosses it in, but it gets headed away. It's picked up by Pwangjan. Plays a nice pass with Thamarasapan. Plays it back into space. Takes it all the way out to the corner flag. There's knocking it about here. He gets the cross in, gets headed away, but Pwangjan's going to pick it up in the midfield. He then stumbles, stops, nearly loses the ball. It gets spread out to Thamarasapan, who plays in Thongsom. He then plays it across to Hayne, and Winai Thongsom to lend Hayne. That's a brilliant finish. He took that really well with his left foot, beat the goalkeeper in a space where really he probably shouldn't have done. Not too sure whether it's poor positioning on the goalkeeper's behalf or whether it's real quality placement. He's hit it left-footed. It's gone in nice and low. and that's a 2-0 lead after 10 minutes. So only 3 shots on target. We scored twice today. That's the kind of finishing that we want to see going forward in the season. So Theatrical with a free kick, he swung it in. Thong Som's hit the ball. I don't know how it hasn't gone in. Carlos nearly bundled it over the line, but instead it gets cleared away. And Theatrical's going to be swinging the corner in. Gets headed straight out. Huang Jan's in a leg race to get the ball. He gets it, plays it forward. Thong Som's going to try and keep it in, but he can't. And it goes harmlessly out for a goal kick. So looking at this, we don't seem to be missing... I was about to say we don't seem to be missing Moanta too much. And then his replacement Thong Som goes and gets injured. So we are going to bring on Salah in his place and continue the game. Yeah, so in terms of the players that we have brought in so far in this first game, they don't show any signs of missing. Certainly the partnership at the back, not giving away too much in terms of chances. In fact, I don't think they've had a chance at all. And we seem to be defending quite solidly. So there's a highlight going on. Theatrical's got the ball. He's going to move forwards. He has the shot from distance. The goalkeeper easily picks it up. Probably was other options there for him, but at 2-0 up, I'm not going to moan too much about that. Theatrical with the corner in, and there's Oh no, it's Sarachat. Cannot get my words out there. I thought Hayne had headed it in for a second. Instead, it was Sarachat. So yeah, it comes over. Hayne was the man in front of him, and Sarachat with the header past the goalkeeper, and that's 3-0. So I'm not going to make any more changes, just that one enforced in the first half. Nobody looks like they're in need of being brought off. We've got a cross coming in from a free kick, and there is Hayne at the back post. Kezarat with the pass, Hayne with the finish, and I think he's only a header away from a perfect hat-trick now. I think that's one with the left foot, one with the right foot. Let's have a look. Yep, right foot swing, straight down the middle of the goal, and that's a brilliant finish to make it 4-0. Certainly showing no signs of missing those players that have left the club, and in fairness, the players that are stepping up into those gaps are playing really well. Hayne is coming good on the promise that the scouts seem to see in him. I'd actually not heard of him, so he's probably a new gen player, but in terms of a left winger, that is a position that we needed with Moanta being able to play there as well. He's going to slot straight in there and hopefully build that partnership with Belazar on the left-hand side, and that'll be our left-hand side set up for the future. And as I'm waffling on about the left-hand side, Kezarat plays it to Prangjan. He plays it into Salah, and a deft little finish into the bottom corner to make it 5 in the 61st minute. And we're already engraving our name on the Thai Champions Cup for a 4th time. And then just to make it even better, Carlos breaks in, but pulls the shot wide. This might be one of the most dominant performances I think I've seen from my team. We've got to 80 minutes and they've just had a shot on target, which is absurd. It just shows that the potential in this team is going to be brilliant, and we are really going to have a good tilt at defending our Champions League crown. And as I'm talking, it's 6-0 now. Theatrical floats the ball over the top, and there's Sarachat again to finish with the left foot past the goalkeeper, who can't get down in time. And we have started a brand new season with another win in the Thai Champions Cup. The lads all pile on to the podium, get the handshakes going on. Trophy is going to be handed over. And before we lift it, the little shuffle as always. Up in the air it goes, the fireworks go off. Confetti falls down once again. People must be sick of seeing Buriram United win things by now, because that's all we do. We're serial winners. And to be honest, long may it continue. So we're going to end the video there. If you enjoyed it and you want to see what comes next, we've got a brand new season video coming out next. If you don't want to miss that, hit the subscribe button so you can see it as soon as it drops. If you've enjoyed today's video, hit the thumbs up button. It really helps me, it helps the channel, lets me know that you're liking the story so far. If you've got any comments, leave them in the box below. But until that next video, a brand new season, I'll see you soon. Take care and stay safe.